welcome to the Seek Coach podcast. This is Avtar Singh, wishing everybody as well. I just realized it's probably been, I think it's been about 2 years since I interviewed somebody on the podcast, so it's been a big gap. I have to apologize for this infrequency, but I think there's lots of interesting people to talk to now, and lots of people I've contacted, so it's a good time to pick everything up. And I'm really excited to talk to my guest today. He's very young, very talented, got lots of potential, and he's doing a lot of good in the world already in his very young age. So I want to welcome Kanwar Raj Singh Sodhi. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Regis. Thank you so much for having me. Nice to be here.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
So where are you at the moment? How are things? You're in India? I guess how's the weather at the moment? It's very hot, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hot. Indeed. It is very hot. I'm in Delhi at the moment. I'm in Delhi since forever. Yeah, it is pretty hot here, especially this year. But yeah.
Yeah,
It's really
I've been keeping tabs on the weather because we got back about 2 months ago. So yeah, I can imagine things are very hot at the moment. So brilliant. So it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to come onto the podcast. So I think just for the listeners and everybody out there, it'd be good to get a little bit of an introduction in who is Kanwar Raj Singh Sodhi. Over to you.
Yes. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm here in Delhi since forever. And here was my schooling done was in KR Mangalam school. So, and it was a basic childhood, very average childhood. I would not say anything extraordinary. So I was a normal kid with a normal schedule, normal routine, as everyone does have, right? Just go to the school, go to the tuitions, and come back home. That is it. I was born in 2005, so approximately you can say I cleared my school last year. I'm 18 years of age right now, so I passed out of school last year. But then, you know, I had some interests from the starting. At the end of the day, those interests only paid off. So I think that's what mattered. One of my interests were chess. As you know, I've been playing chess since a long time, and now I'm a player as well as a trainer. So that was back in class 2, which is the second class. That's how my journey started actually. I was fairly decent at studies as well. Chess was my only interest, and I was a very shy introvert kid, so nothing as such. But yeah, that's how it all started, and then soon enough, we got serious in the game.
Brilliant. So I can probably resonate with that. I was an introvert as well. Very quiet during my younger years, which is a very long time compared to you. So it's like I resonate with that. So I guess you kind of do, what do you do now then? So, you talk about chess as being a passion, but what's your kind of main sort of thing that you do at the moment?
Okay, so as I said, chess was one interest of mine, which I started back in when I was in second standard, so 10 years back. But yeah, that time was not so serious. Soon enough, became a serious passion of mine, and I really started following it. Specifically, when COVID struck, when it was a lockdown, then this happened. Because there was online chess, and chess is a thing which can be played online. So that was a blessing for me because there are very less sports that could be played online, right? So I started playing online chess, started making money through it when I was approximately 13 or 14 years of age. So I made very lower amounts, but these amounts were also big for me because I was just 13, 14. So at that tender age, of course, I was making something that was a motivation for me. So yeah, that's how it all started. And soon enough, later on, I got into investments. For now, I am, of course, into equity investments as well. And I am a chess trainer. So my first income, or still a big chunk of my income, comes through chess training and playing, which I invest thereafter into the markets. That's what I do.
Brilliant. So no normal 9 to 5 job for you. It's straight into sort of being independent and doing your own thing. Brilliant. So yeah, we'll get more into chess and sort of investing. So I see you share a lot of things online, specifically around sort of positive activities like keeping fit, and you do share a lot around Sikhi and sort of inspirational sort of teachings and other areas of inspiration. So is that sort of what you do in your spare time? What do you do outside of chess and investing?
Yes. So yeah, I like to post about these things because I like to know and learn about these things myself. And I'm still in that journey. I'm just 18 years of age, so I'm not really reached up there, right? I'm also in that journey, and I am trying to reach up there. So I think all these things, because success or winning or achieving, whatever you call it, is not just about one thing, I feel, right? And you are successful when you have the freedom, as well as when you have the right wisdom to maintain it, to keep it, and to continue it. So that's what I feel. So I think a lot of things go into it, be it fitness, be it your connection with the divine or the god, be it your financial knowledge, your general knowledge about life, your health, your mind, right? So a lot of things go into it, and that's what I do in my spare time. So I try to read a lot, I try to run a lot. I was not a doer of these things back then though, but recently, soon enough, I have started these things, and I'm constantly working on them. So that's what I post about as well. Positivity, and how can we just get better by making very simpler, smaller choices daily.
Brilliant. So, I mean, if I look back at when I was 18, a very long time ago, I hardly looked at any of these things in regards to sort of, personal development or a bit of a plan of action, and sort of didn't really take a lot of these normal things that we kind of exposed to now. Is there like, was there any inspiration, or was it, how did you get this sort of level of insight and wanting to do all these activities at such a young age? What inspired you to do that?
So actually, I was always quite focused, and I really wanted to do something big since the start, because I was, as I said, an introvert kid, a very shy kid. So I never had a lot of friends, or I was never the one roaming around, or doing such unhealthy activities. I was just a normal kid who went to the school, went to the tuitions, played a little bit, and came back home. That's it. That was my basic routine. But I wouldn't say I knew I was going to do this, or I knew I'll be like this since forever, because still I was a very small kid. But all of this actually happened when I grew up and came to class 9th, 10th, those standards, when actually you feel a lot more things, because now you're a bit more matured, and a lot more uh, students or friends of yours, peers of yours, are enjoying life a lot now. So I feel there I was missing out, and I'll be honest, I really was missing out on a lot of things. I felt that, and that's why I was sad as well, for a period of time, and I didn't have much friends, as I said, no one to look up to, and so on. So my life was kind of stuck. But then soon enough, I realized that I have some opportunity, some potential. Because first of all, as I said, chess was my skill. So I was blessed with the skill already, through which I could, move further. That's how I really started. I would say it was a fear of failure or a fear of missing out, but I didn't want to complete it by just doing the regular activities. I wanted to make something big out of it, and prove myself. That was the first initial motivation. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. It's really good. So yeah, I think that's a big thing nowadays, especially with social media and the pressure of being up to date and being doing fun things and looking at other people, and the fear of missing out is a huge thing. Causes a lot of stress for people. But I think, like you say, if you get over that and understand your own journey, challenge your own passions, you know, the it's kind of like, short-term pain, long-term gain kind of thing,
Yes.
versus the short-term enjoyment and long-term pain because you haven't focused on your
Right.
key skills and passions. Brilliant. So I guess I'm really interested in the chess, having being somebody who's never played chess. Like I only started to learn about chess when I got my son into chess from a teacher, and then he was teaching me. So I've been a bit selfish. I keep teaching him things that I want him to teach me, like swimming and chess and stuff. But I guess it makes him a good teacher. But then I get an opportunity to learn it. But one thing I realized about chess was, it's an age-old game. It's a lot about strategy, and I guess
Yeah.
there's some synergies around investing, which we'll get onto afterwards. But you know, and chess is huge now. If you think about,
Yes.
um, the international space, there's a big buzz around it. There's the Indian champions recently, the young
Right.
brother and sister. It's like it's suddenly like become fashionable. Before it used to be like boring people sitting there for hours playing games and stuff. So yeah, tell me more about chess and the advantages of chess, and as you're a teacher now, teaching other people, student about chess,
Right.
what do you gain from it? What can people gain from it? What have you gained from it? Why did in the game as well?
Right. So again, when I started chess, it was nothing like this. As you said, it is a buzz right now. It is booming right now. Back then, it was not a lot of people played chess actually. Now there is a lot of growth, and especially India, which, as you said, brothers and sisters. So they are Pragnanda and Vaishali. So they've went viral because they won so many awards and stuff. And Pragnanda even beat Magnus Carlsen, who's the world champion. So there is a lot
Yes.
happening in chess, and especially Indian chess, because Indians बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हैं chess which for now currently. And in fact, also over the world, बहुत सारे tournaments हो रहे हैं with big prize monies and big investors or sponsors coming in for chess. Because as I said, it all changed when COVID struck, because that time chess was one of the few things that could have been done online, and it was one of the few interesting things, and you know a sport or a thing that could improve you as well. So not just a game for entertainment, but it was a thing that could improve you a lot. So a lot more people joined chess, a lot more kids joined chess, so that they can improve, because it's a mind game, it's an analytical game, and it really helps you develop those skills. Be it patience, be it your thinking development, right? Be it strategies. It really, really helps, because in chess, what you're doing is basically, first of all, you learn a lot of things, a lot of openings, a lot of strategies, and then at the end of the day, you go up on the board, and then it's just about not blundering or not making a mistake, right? Because whoever makes the mistake first loses the game. That's about it. So whatever strategy you have, uh, you know, even if you're a grandmaster or even if you're not, but at the end of the day, if you make a blunder, you will lose the game, right? It could be a small mistake wherein you just lose your piece, be it a small pawn as well, but that will cost
Mm.
you the game. So I think it is a game which really asks for a lot of patience, a lot of discipline, and it is a game of discipline at the end of the day. So if kids want to learn it, or even if not kids, but even if a teenager or someone in 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever age it is, I think it is a game which can be played by all, can be really helpful for your thinking skills, personal development, and it will help you to be focused and disciplined, because it's a game of that, focus.
Yeah, definitely. So I read somewhere where it says, good good chess players are already like 5, 6 moves ahead, thinking ahead
Yes.
of their strategy, and others, if they're thinking of less moves, they are at a disadvantage. And I guess
Right.
that's a good thing about life, isn't it? About creating a plan, having a goal, objective, understanding what's next beyond,
Anji.
6 months, 12 months, to 5 years, 10 years. Some people have really well thought out plans, but I guess chess is perfect for getting your mind to think about the
Yes,
long game.
absolutely. Yeah, and it does relate with it does relate with life a lot. As you said, for example, planning. So that's what we do in chess, right? We think a few moves ahead of the move we are currently at. For example, a beginner probably would just see one move ahead. Maybe I'll see 7, 8 moves ahead. Maybe a grandmaster will see 15 moves ahead, right? So that's the way life is as well. If life which to see आगे देख पा रहे हो या plan कर पा रहे हो, so I think that's how you succeed in life, because you really have a vision that ए हो सकता है या ए मैं कर सकता हूँ, right? So that's a
Mm.
vision, and that's what chess is all about. You think ahead of your opponent, or your competitors, whatever you call it. But yeah, it really helps you in planning, and really helps you to stay focused, because even if you think 10 moves ahead, uh, your opponent can play anything at the middle of it and just change things around. So then you have to be prepared for the other thing too. Just like
Yeah.
in life, that if something doesn't go your way, because in chess there are millions of possibilities at every move, right? So I
Mm.
calculate a variation wherein I say I'll play this, and I'll win the game. But if my opponent doesn't play as per I planned, so I gotta
Mm.
change the whole line, right? But if you are prepared, because good chess players or grandmasters are prepared for each line,
Mm.
right? That's why they're so good at it. They know each and every line, and that's how life is as well. Because if you're ready for each obstacle that's about to come, or even if it comes, you overcome it, you're good to go, right? So I think I own that life which take chess switch, and even investing, and
Yeah.
I'm very blessed that I can relate all three of them together.
Yeah, brilliant. It's like they say, the only truth is that change is the only true thing. Everything is changing, and the way you adapt to those changes. Because there's this thing called so your circle of influence is a model of sort of personal development. And when you think about what's in your control is very limited. When you
Right.
think of what's not in your control, there's so many things that are not in your control. So like Zindagi is just about being, fluid and
Yes.
being able to adapt to change. So brilliant, perfect. So yeah, I think so. What would your thing be if people really reveled up now to learn chess? How would they? What kind of things would you say for them to just have a bit of a taster, or some of the online resources that you use to play chess and learn about chess?
Yeah. Yes. There are a lot of online resources for now in chess, and it's constantly evolving. So you have a lot of material, a lot of resources. Definitely, they can be websites for playing. There's Chess, chess.com, chess24, so much more, right? And I think playing is the best form of learning. It's also entertainment and also learning at the same time, right? Because if I tell you to do puzzles, very few would actually do it. Only the ones too serious about chess would do it. Otherwise, if you're just developing it as a hobby, you can learn by playing as well. So if you play more and more games, you'll be entertained as because it's very much enjoyable. It's nothing tough. It's enjoyable, and at the same time you learn because every opponent plays a different line. Every opponent plays a different strategy. He has a different tactic out of there. So I think it really helps you learn as well as enjoy. And yeah, playing is the best form of learning. And at the end of it, if you really want to go deeper into it, then you have a lot more material. You can research about books. You can just do puzzles in chess because at the end it's about calculation, right? How do you calculate well? How do you see 5 moves ahead, as we discussed? So for that you need to do puzzles, wherein you can find on any website, as I just mentioned, right? Chess, be it chess.com, be it chess24, whatever it is. You just go to puzzles and start solving as per your rating. You'll get the positions and you keep solving it. There are I think millions and billions of positions out there, so they'll never end. You can keep practicing for free. That's the best thing because most of these websites are free, so there's a lot more there.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll be sharing some of the links to those in the podcast notes
Yeah,
so people can check those out.
absolutely.
Brilliant. Okay, so I guess that strategy piece and chess and everything else is and this moving into the investment world. How did you get interested in investing? Because it's a very can be a very complicated world full of
Yes.
technical data,
Mhm.
information, sentiment, feelings, behaviors, and that's just scratching the surface basically. So how did you get interested in this, and what's your journey been like at such a young age, getting
Yeah.
into doing sort of investing full time as a career?
So first of all, no one in my family is in investing or has never done equity investing as such. Right, my
Oh
father is a
wow,
government exporter, so he has a different, altogether different work. Right, but
yes,
luckily, I got into investments through him only. So he's not into equities, but when COVID struck, he started just watching the markets as probably a hobby or a side income or a side hustle, right? Whatever you can call it, because the factories were shut up, right? And he was at home, and everyone was at home, and that's when a lot of more users joined in the markets, right? So that was a period when a lot more retail investors came into the markets because they understood that this is the only business that stays here forever, and you can make so much out of it by even starting with 100 rupees, right? Because there's no actual limit to it, and also there's no minimum ask to it, right? Because you can also purchase one stock if you don't have a lot of money. So, and you can do it very freely. There is no boss. There is time freedom. There is location freedom. Of course, there is financial freedom, right? So it was one
yeah,
such occupation or such profession which people really looked up to. And of course, my father also just started watching the markets. Now, when he would turn the news on, the stocks would be highlighted, and I was, of course, very much in love with numbers from the start. Uh, really wanted to make money because I really felt so at that point of time that if I make money, that's the easiest way to prove others wrong, or be cooler than my friends, or basically have more freedom, right? Because as a 14-year-old or as a 13-year-old, I would just think that I'll be more free or I'll be independent, right? But I think there was nothing wrong in that because if you're making money by a clean, natural way, then it's good enough. You're building a nice net for yourself for your future. So yeah, I started watching the market as well with my dad, and I requested him to, in fact, not requested but challenged him that Dad, I'll be better than you. I'll do better than you, and just give me an account to trade with. And I knew nothing about the markets by then. Nothing, absolutely nothing, zero, because I was a school going kid, right? In ninth or 10th grade. But of course, yes, he was very kind enough to give me an account to trade with. It was my mom's account because I just turned 18, so that's when I opened my own account. Otherwise, I traded on my mom's account for like 3 to 4 years. But yeah, that was the account I traded with, and then that's how I started. So I still remember he gave me like probably like 5,000 rupees or so, or 10,000 rupees by his own pocket, and I also added some more by my own earnings, because I just started out with chess trainings or chess playing back then. So I was making some little bit of amounts, and that's how I basically started with a very little amount, but and very little knowledge too, but gained all through the journey.
Awesome. So I think a big pat on the back for your father for allowing you to
Yeah,
try this out, and I'm sure you gave your mum a nice gift after
I did.
building her account up.
Right.
Perfect. So I think you've kind of, so the starting of the investment journey, that I think you did some qualification or studying as well then for this sector as well. Can you tell me a bit about what kind of things did you study and how that supported your investment knowledge?
Yeah. So the first 2 years, honestly, the first 1.5 year or so, was just playing around in the markets every single day without learning as such. So I didn't learn that much. Of course, markets taught me a lot every single day, but there was no formal learning as such, right? I didn't read much of books. I didn't do any courses, no exams, nothing. I was just trading every single day, and I was just learning the very practical way, which is the real way, right? Which is fine, but you can also learn in a more easier way. Instead of doing mistakes on your own, you can learn by others' mistakes, right? As they say. So then, soon enough, I realized as I grew that I can do courses as well, and I can study more on this in a very professional manner. And that's when I think last year, when I was 17, I gave started giving examinations on this, which is the NISM exam. That's the National Institute of Securities Market, and it is an initiative under SEBI, which is our Indian Board of Securities, right? So that is an educational initiative by them, and they have various set of examinations for each segment of the market, right? Be it commodities, be it currency, be it equities, whatever you're interested in, they have exams for that. So I started studying. I did studying on my own only, and soon enough I gave the exams, and in fact I cleared it, and I became one of the youngest to do so in India, because the interesting part about that is that, of course, stock market is something that is not allowed to do for kids, and so are the exams for that, right? So you need it to be at least 18, and they also ask for a PAN card, because a PAN card can only be made after 18. But luckily, I got to know what is a minor PAN card to give that exam, and I cleared that. So I was the one who cleared at age 17, and that's how it started. Then I followed by another exam and then another. So I cleared in total three, and it really helped me a lot. First of all, gives me an official title, right? Gives me certification, right? And when I'm, so that I can officially work in the markets, because now I have a registered name to it, and also lots of knowledge at a very cheap price. So very affordable, very accessible, and it's official by SEBI. So what else you need?
Awesome. Brilliant. So yeah, well done on becoming the youngest to one of the youngest to get that certification. So 17, I'm sure I'm sure a lot of people get that when they're much older. So congratulations on that. Obviously it's all that hard work you put into learning and experiencing the markets. So I guess I'm quite new to the Indian stock exchange markets as well. Kind of, I guess the American market and the Western markets, UK, get all of the
Right,
sort of buzz all the time. But I know India's on this kind of steep sort of trajectory in sort
right.
of developing in IT infrastructure, all that sort of stuff. So, what is the sort of how do you perceive the Indian markets sort of compared to the other markets, and um, you know, what do you feel about the economy, and is it quite exciting time, and sort of yeah, what's your take on the sort of Indian markets?
Okay, so I really feel, of course, the Western markets are also quite strong, and they are the heavyweights. They're the big ones, right? But India is one such place where I think a lot of people are already invested in, even the foreigners, and I think they actually should, because that's where you want to be. You want to be where the growth is at the highest, and you have a lot more opportunities because you have a lot more sectors, and there is something going on 24/7. So, India never sleeps. There is just something going on every single day and every single second. And there is so much of work happening. There is so much of consumption. There is so much of production. There is just business going on, and on and on. Right. So I think the opportunities in India are way, way, way more than any other economy, I would say, if I'm not biased. But the point is that basically we are emerging in a growing economy, right? And a more cleaner economy than this, a more well growing and a more stronger in terms of demographics, it's very unlikely to find, right? Everything is in India's favor, I feel. So I think this is the best time to be, and the best place to be, in fact. And everyone should own a part of equity of India, definitely. Because it's here to stay for long and it's here to grow for long. It's not a 1 year, 2 year, 5 year story, right? India is growing at a massive pace, and you see the compounding which is going to happen. It's now going to happen. It is still not happened, and it will. That compounding magic will continue for the next 20, 30, 40 years, and that's where the actual wealth will be created. So right now we are moving from a smaller to a bigger base, from a poorer to a developed or a decent nation, and that's where the actual consumption starts to happen. So I feel India is in the sweet spot, and everyone should own a part of equity here, definitely, to make money.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that. After sort of spending a good amount of time a year in India, I can see the sort of development potential.
Right.
And I think that there's another thing as well. It's like you're getting people, the population's getting more sort of educated, more aware, more, um, there's a big market for people who want to have more luxury or sort of more services available. So, you've had a record number of unicorns. I know some of them
Mhm.
obviously disappeared, but that's part of the sort of whole startup industry. But there's some real big things happening in India, which are going to start challenging the Western world, or I think they already started to notice and want to be part of it earlier. So brilliant. So have you ever looked? Do you kind of look at the American markets and other markets, or you mainly focus on India then?
No, not really. I do focus on Indian markets only. Definitely, when you're trading actively, then you need to focus on the global markets for the global views. But that's just general, quite a watch. That's it. What's going around? Nothing as such. I do invest in Indian equities only. Uh, right. That's it.
Perfect. Brilliant. So obviously investing is very interesting, looking at markets and understanding what's happening. There's a lot of misconceptions out there as well, which you're probably well aware of, and they're probably things that we've all been through when we're trying to learn about certain things about the behaviors of the markets and how things go up and down. What are the sort of common misconceptions that you kind of clarify to people or kind of have learnt yourself about the markets?
Mhm. So as you said, first of all, the thing which is very important, which is the behavior of the market, and I think it is all about that. If you make money, it is because of that. If you lose money, it's because of that, right? It is just the behavior of, in fact, people or investors, be it weak behavior or be it a strong behavior, the mixed emotions, which make the prices fluctuate, right? Every single second. And just imagine, prices are fluctuating every single second in every single security or every single stock. So it is so much going around, from 9:15 to 3:30 or whatever the time zone is, right? Back to back. So the idea is because due to the mixed emotions of investors, when the price fluctuate a lot, you really find some irrationality there, and then find that gap and then you buy or then you sell. Because what most of the people are doing, that's not really usually right? Because they do it because of their emotions. For example, when the market is falling, they panic sell. And in fact, when the market is already fallen down, why do you sell? It's a cheap price to sell. So that's the biggest mistake, right? I think so. Because when it is already fallen down, now, for example, if we are 10% lower, and if you know that asset is going to cover up again soon enough in time, but just because you're panicking, you sell that asset 10% cheaper. Now that's a 10% loss for you. So I think that's when the wise investor starts buying, because he gets it for 10% a lower amount, right? So I think if your asset or your security stock, whatever you're trading in, is strong enough, is clean enough to recover back, then every fall or every correction is a discount. It's a sale. For example, we go shopping, so we should go shopping here, right? So I feel this is one big mistake. It is due to the weak behavior of investors, and it is natural. I wouldn't say I don't face it. I also face it every single day. But it's just that you try to make lesser mistakes and more rewarding bets. Everyone makes mistakes, but your mistakes should be small and not big, right? And I also do have a quote here by Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, which he was the biggest investor of India and the most wise investor. I will say he passed away last year, but one of my favorite investors. So he used to say that mistakes is fine. Making mistakes is fine. It is natural, so it's not a big deal in that. But he had thought that making mistakes is fine, but only make a mistake that you can afford, so that you may live to make another, right? So the point is, the idea is you will make mistakes, and that's fine, but you only make one you can afford, so that you may live to make another. Because if you make such a big mistake that you die already, or you are you know done with life, or with your corpus, or with the capital, whatever it is, then you're just done. You
Yes.
don't get any other chances here, because markets could actually be very punishing for those mistakes.
Yeah.
So yeah, make small mistakes. That's fine, but self-control is very important, and I think we should not get emotions in business. That's the thing.
Brilliant. Great advice. And I think I heard someone say that the most successful traders are the ones that make less mistakes. So
Absolutely.
they get better at making like lower, like smaller mistakes. So then the upsides are more what they focus on. But yeah, I think the biggest challenges are when people think they can make money quickly or follow sort of um, just emotional trends or doing what the market's doing without actually, like yourself, you would have understood fundamentals and looked at proper data and made an informed decision and understand what the market's doing. But also the other big thing is about timescales as well. So, there's this thing around investors and traders, sort of the day-to-day traders and the sort of investors that are a bit more long term. What's the difference between those two types of activities?
Okay, so trading is more exciting, honestly, because it's quick, it's fast, and you can make money quickly. It's basically a short-term thing, right? But also it's more riskier. So of course, if you have a chance of making money quickly, the probability of making money is also less than, right? You need to understand the risks and the rewards. But investing on the other hand is boring, very, very boring, because for the longer term, you need to, have a vision for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. But you might think it's boring, and you might think it's less rewarding or slow rewarding, but it's actually way more safer as well, because there are very less chances you lose money in investing if you even actually invest in decent companies. Not even the best, but even decent companies. Even if you just remove the bad ones and invest in decent ones or above, then you just don't really lose money, because you're investing for a long time horizon, and good companies usually tend to recover even if they fall. So trading is something which is very fast, and it's done in the shorter term, where you're just chasing the price. So you just chase momentum, which is not bad. If you can do that, then well and good for you, because very strong cash flows, and quick profits. So that's the best thing you could do actually. But the idea is that it cannot be done consistently. It's very tough to do that, right? So that's the logic behind it, and that's why most of the traders fail. Because if you think that you can make a specific set of amount every single day, and you fix that monthly budget through trading for yourself, then you're going actually wrong, because markets are one such instrument that are volatile. So a volatile instruments can move up or down basically anytime, right? And there could be a crash or be a correction which you might not know. And if you have your monthly expenses set, and you expect that coming in from trading, then that's actually very dangerous, because markets might not just pay your bills on the first of the month, right? And they just might go down. So I think this is where people make mistakes, that they think that we can make so and so amounts every single day. Trading is good if you have developed that skill, but trading also should be tracked down or journaled in a longer term period, I think so. Because if you're able to do it that consistently, then it's good enough, right? Because good traders, what do? They journal their trades, and at the end of the month or at the end of the quarter, that's how they actually track their performances, not day by day, or hour by hour, right? So that's I think the thing.
Yeah, so yeah, so I teach about data, so I resonate with that. So I think a lot of people that do that reflect on the performance is there in the figures, and they can pick up patterns and see what they did wrong and improve their strategies and sometimes, like you said, you just have a bad run, but you got to figure out why and how and try not to repeat that. But yeah, I like that thing. It resonates with the point we had earlier around FOMO and thinking you're missing out, and you know, it's about the long term game,
Yeah,
isn't it?
absolutely.
Always, and what do you need to do now, which is going to help you later on in your sort of
Right.
strategy, career, investing, whatever you choose. There's always that trade-off, and I think what you basically said was high risk, high returns, low risk, low returns, and that's just the rule of nature, isn't
Right.
it?
It is. It is.
And you pick and choose, and that's in everything, life, full stop. I see a lot of people compare with other people's success, but they don't see the hard work that other people put in,
Right.
and they think they've just been lucky or privileged, but we hardly see sort of their day-to-day activities and the difficulties and the challenges they're doing in the short term to make those sort of strides in progression in all parts of life. Brilliant. So I guess what's the future for the investing? You want to teach people as well, or kind of what's your plans in regards to sort of that area?
Yeah. So teaching is, of course, one of my interests, and I definitely also do sessions right now, and I would like to take it on the next level as well. Mentorships and all. But of course, this is a space which is under the board, which is SEBI. So there are a lot more compliances because you're dealing with money. So you can't really pick out on stocks, right? You can't name stocks, and there are so many more things. So I feel I'll not go into giving out tips or giving out advices as such, but what I will try to do is teach just basic finances in a very simpler way to the masses, right? Because that's something you can actually do. That's actually a subject, just like we learn in schools, math, science, history and stuff. That's also one subject which we can learn, as simple as that. So I think finances or being rich is not luck, it's a skill, right? And you can learn it. So you can very easily learn that, but you need to give in some time. You need to invest your time and energy. If you're ready to do that, you can actually learn it. So I really wish to actually, first of all, of course, learn a lot more myself as well, and then share this knowledge if I can with someone who's just starting out.
Brilliant. So yeah, so learn chess, teaching chess, learn investing, teaching investing. I think it's important to emphasize that you know, teaching people the basics about finance is just something everybody should know about, but unfortunately, the world isn't like that. And sometimes the way you explain things will resonate with certain people or, certain generations and help them to gain that knowledge. So I think it's a great thing to do, and I think it at least tells people about the risks involved as well as a reward, and then gives them a bit of a good start rather than losing money that they can't lose and sort of protecting their future, their livelihoods. Like you said, it's not like a salary you're going to get it on the first of the month to pay all your bills. Some days will be good, some days, some months won't be good, and you'll be struggling if you're not, taking that into account. So well done, brilliant. Cool. Okay, so it'd be good to sort of learn more about how you stay motivated. We talked a bit about the fitness. What does that look like? What made you start the sort of fitness thing? Like I know there was a lot of things around 75 hard that started last year, which I kind of saw lots of people doing. And I guess I got a bit inspired with that, but just didn't want to commit to a number. And we kind of spoke about this the other day about just being active, basically having a lifestyle which is balanced. So, you eat well, you sleep well, you work out well, you do things to progress your knowledge, you do something for your mind, well-being and spirituality and stuff. So tell me a bit about that initiative and how that's going, because you post daily. I know we
Yeah.
kind of look at each other's stories and it kind of motivates each other. I'm at the obviously the older scale, you're at the younger scale, but I think it's nice to
Yeah, absolutely.
see somebody like you promoting that, because if I'm doing it, people are like, yeah, he's got plenty of spare time or something, like I can't resonate with the audience. Whereas you're 18 and people are influential at that age, at that young age. So I think you're doing a really good job. But what kind of things do you do? What's the plans and how did you get inspired to do that?
Okay, so yeah, I was never actually a very physically active person, though I did play sports in my school, and here and there, but not very professionally or not in a disciplined manner as such. But again, as we spoke about the 75 hard and stuff, trends were going around last year. And since the last couple of months. So I also got a bit inspired by that. But again, it's not a 75 hard for me. It's just a daily tracker, and I'm not doing the same activities as 75 hard. It was just started as running a kilometer or running a mile each day. That's it. So the idea was that I didn't even know how running really helped me. I just knew that it's a good thing to do for my body, and it'll take test of my discipline. That's it. You just need to do the things that ask for consistency. And if you can do that every single day, then of course you're training your mindset really, really well, and that really helps me for my chess and for my investing as well. So it's not just about making big muscles as such. I feel it's more about your mindset. So I think whenever I run, of course, I hate it. I don't enjoy that much, and no one does, right? I enjoy it when I'm running just because I want to do it, right? I feel like doing it. But otherwise, when I need to really, go in, even when I'm tired, then that's the time I hate it. But that's when you actually need to do it, because that's how your mindset gets trained. So I think that was one inspiration for me, that I'll train my mindset really well by this. And of course, I'll also inspire a lot of more others, because when I post about this, then of course that's how I actually build my audience. So the audience really keeps a track as well, and they get a reminder kind of thing that okay, we also have to go for the walk or for the run, and they also then update me. Some of the close ones also send me pictures. It's a very fun activity to do every single day. And soon enough, I also then added gym into this, and I added meditation, I added reading. So it's, as you said, it's just well-being, right, and living a more healthier and a better life than the majority of average people. That's it. You just need to do just very, very smaller, better things, which can be simply done in your simple routine at home, right? They don't even ask for any specific place or any specific set of money, nothing, just your efforts. That's it. You can do that at your home as well. In fact, I started walking, running at my terrace, right? But then I went to grounds and stuff. So the idea is just to keep it very simple, but to live a very sustainable and healthy life. And that's how you just keep adding things to it. So just start, I would say, and then you just keep adding as per you grow. That's it.
Awesome. Brilliant. So I think like you may understand that the previous generations, they worked really hard. They had
Yeah.
struggles, completely different struggles than we have. Well, I think the world is, in most places, becoming more and more comfortable. And
Mhm.
part of this, the reason why I do it is almost, you got to choose your resilience. You got to choose something that's going to make you stronger. You got to choose your pain, I say. So, because life's going to give you a lot of pain in various ways where you can't choose, but this is something you can choose. So whether that's working out, whether that's learning something new, whether it's just doing something that you're not comfortable doing, getting out your comfort zone. So something I started a while ago was having cold showers every morning, because it's like uh, there's benefits of it, but if you've already done something like uncomfortable in the day, the rest of the day seems much, much more easier. And
Right. Absolutely.
if you've done your workout in the morning, you feel like a sense of achievement before the day's even started. And like you said, it just starts your day off in a good frame of mind, so you perform better. You're more conscious of what you eat. You're more conscious of getting sleep, because the next day you're going to get up and do the routine again. And I always found like um, a lot of the older generation had routines, and that's what
Yeah.
kept them strong, resilient. And I felt like when I was young, I didn't really have much of a routine, so I kind of had to evolve one. But I think everybody generally needs to figure out a routine, and like you said, whether it's just walking for 10 minutes a day, getting fresh air, it's just those
Absolutely.
small steps to progress from. Like that's the minimum you do, and you just start to build on that to whichever degree you want to. But
Exactly.
good, brilliant.
Because uh, what is success? It's just what we do and what our habits are. What is our routine, right? That's what success is. If my habits are good, I'll be successful. As simple as that, right? But you need to perform these activities consistently for set of years, set of decades. It's not that easy, but it is simple. The procedure is simple. It's not easy, as they say. So
Yeah.
the idea is to just keep getting better every single day and just do very simpler tasks. In fact, these are the most simple tasks to do. Actually, just going out and going for a 10-minute walk, right? Or just sitting and reading a book. But people want to do the complicated stuff because the simpler stuff is not enjoyable. That's
Yeah.
the problem in today's generation or today's world, which is natural because we are evolving and we're getting more things to see and
Mm.
to feel, to listen to study, to go to, and there's just so much to do. So we want to experience the more enjoyable things and not the simpler tasks, of course. But actually, I feel, as you said earlier as well, that our older generations had much more resilient minds and they were much more stronger because they had a specific set of routine. And that's what I feel, because they lived a very much simpler life. And if we live simpler lives, then we can do much better. Because I don't mean just go out on the lake and sit by that riverside and just meditate for the whole day. You do your
Yeah.
work, do everything, it's all good. But the idea is you start your days according to your own pace and you start your days really well so that you have that motivation or that positivity for the rest of the day. And you really need to sleep also with those positive thoughts so that you can get up and do these same things again tomorrow, right? Because a lot of people quit on the fourth day or the sixth day or the 10th day, right? Because they're not able to make such a routine for themselves so that they can continue tomorrow. So the idea is to, of course, not make it that comfortable. It is, of course, hard, but you should shape it according to your flexibilities as well, so that you can do it again tomorrow. Because that's where the magic lies, in the consistency of that, right?
Exactly. And then most people, I read this book. It's a very, very old book. It says how to live on 24 hours. And it's a
Okay.
free book available online if you just search for it called How
Uh-huh.
to Live on 24 Hours. And it was written by some British gentleman in,
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, it's like 1800 or something. And he said
Mm-hmm.
basically everybody gets 24 hours and nobody else gets any less or more. You can't create any more hours, you can't create any less hours. And it's a matter of how do you utilize those 24 hours. And that's the difference between successful people and people who are a bit chaotic and not being planned. And the biggest excuse always is I don't have enough time. So
Mm-hmm.
like, and I always find that if you've got time to watch a movie, if you've got time to sleep for 2 extra hours, like there has to be time because if you've got to
Yeah.
look after your mental well-being, you've got to spend time for that. And if you've got to make your body strong, you've got to spend time for that because that's going to enrich your life. So you're almost
Absolutely.
like if you're not doing that, you're making your quality of living lower because yeah, you're not looking after what God's given us. So but I think resilience is a really important thing, and I think we both resonate with that concept. And I think Sikhi for us is full of resilience. Yeah, it's almost like there's so many examples in history in Gurbani that tells us how to live, a good life and how to sort of face challenges and become stronger. How are you sort of impacted by Sikhi and Gurbani? Because you read, you share. Um, different quotes of Gurani on a sort of daily basis, and you kind of share your takings from that. So how does Sikhi enrich your life, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah. So of course, Sikhis helped me a lot, and I am who I am just because of that. I'm not who I am because of myself. I am who I am because God wanted to be who I am. So the idea is that you accept what He gives you, and I feel I still have a lot of confusion in my head because there are so many things which you're not able to understand. For example, destiny, or is it all planned? You know, is it something that I just cannot change? What is it? Because at the end of the day, this is a big question, and even 80-year-olds cannot understand it. So I'm just an 18-year-old. So of course, I still have a lot of things going around my head. But when I read more of Gurbani, then I get to know that, of course, there are a lot of all your own tasks. You could actually better your lives. The choice is in our hand only because if you choose to be close to your family, if you choose to be, as I say, a gurmukh and not a manmukh, that really helps because then you kind of accept life the way it is and you just try to accept it and learn from it and then change it accordingly. You don't crave, you don't cry on that, right? Because then you're just wasting time. So, and you're not blaming the universe for it. So I feel that's how it has helped me a lot for that reason, because I used to earlier blame the universe for it. or just keep crying on that instance, because of course I was young as well and I don't know much of that. And the point was that if something bad happens to me, I always felt that it's only happening with me. Why is this only happening with me? So the biggest learning I think is that even if something bad is happening, it is happening for good first of all. And second thing is you can accept that and learn from it and change that. But you don't need to blame the universe or you don't need to blame God or anyone else for that. So as they say, tera pana meetha lage, right? So because whatever you give us is good to us and is good for our futures and it's we accept it with all respect. So I think that's one single thing. But of course, it's about your choices, your karma, which can actually make your lives better. Otherwise, most of the things, of course, as we say, are planned and we accept that.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. I think the concept of hukam is very important. It's almost
Yes.
what is the command, what is there destined for you, where you're born, how you grow up, what challenges you face. And I think you mentioned it earlier, like people who learn from their mistakes and learn how to improve, they're no longer failures or mistakes, they're just opportunities to become better. So really, yeah, I think everybody, I've done the same thing in my younger years, think why me, why, it happened to me, but it's easier to work out when you look back. That's if you've reflected and you've proved and you've used those opportunities to become wiser and better. And this is not guaranteed because you could still end up making the same mistake because you forgot the lesson. But that's life, isn't it? So I think Sikhi is something really amazing that the more you read, the more the connection you have, the older you grow, the more experience you get. And message means different things to you at different stages.
Yes.
And it's only a message of helping you with your mental health, mental well-being, and promoting you to be a positive force in the world. So I think that's the beauty of Sikhi, which I think sometimes we don't probably share as much as we should to the wider population. But people see in action in what we do in a lot of communities.
Yeah. You're right.
Brilliant, good. Um, so what kind of, I know you read a lot of books. I usually see you putting up books that you're reading at the moment. I think we were reading the similar book, Naval Ravikant, The
Yeah, yeah.
Almanac, which I found fascinating as well. So what kind of books do you enjoy reading? Which books stand out to you a lot? And yeah, share some of those insights with us.
Okay. So yeah, I was actually never a reader as such, but of course, as I said, when I went on to my fitness journey, that's when I added more and more things. And reading is one thing which I think has changed my life. Without reading, I'm nothing. And I've learned so much more, and also have been more patient. I've been enjoying life more because all what I need is a book and myself, right? And that's just peace. And when I actually realized that. Uh, I regret my earlier decisions so much that why I never read, because it's just that simple. You can actually learn from some others' mistakes. The one who's been into the particular game since 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and then he's writing the book, and that's being sold to you just for probably 200, 300, 400 rupees, which is like two, three, five, $6, right? So the point is, it's so accessible and affordable, and that's how you can learn so much. So for me, I was never interested in traditional knowledge. Of course, I am the one who is interested in specific knowledge or doing some different things, right? And that's when I chose the path of investing as well, because I never wanted to, sit in the classroom and just spend my time there. I really wanted to do something different. I wanted to learn, of course, but in a more different way, and a way that teaches me more about general life as well, not just a particular subject. That I'm learning history. Oh, okay, that's cool. That's fine. That will give me a degree, but that will not help me make history, right? So the idea is you learn about various subjects and about life as well as so much more through books, because it's a 200-page book which you can finish like in a couple of days, a couple of weeks, and you're done with it, and then you can find something else as well. So it's a very vast field. You can read so much, and it has helped me in my investing as well, because I've read so many investing books by great authors, and I still do. I'm currently also reading a book, as I said, by Naval Ravikant. So he's also been an investor. He's also been a big businessman, and he still is. And he's a wonderful personality, because the things he says, just make me so much more happy and so much, make me realize so much more about life. As he said, we are just monkeys with plan. That's it. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we take life much more seriously than it actually is, and especially we take ourselves much more seriously than we actually are, right? Because we're not that uh, even valuable. There's 7 billion people on 8 billion people on this earth, right? So we're just monkeys with a plan. That's it, and we get so much which we take for granted. So I think that's what I learned from this book specifically, and a lot more about business, and so much more. So yeah, reading is one such thing. It really helps me a lot and has helped me. And I've read, you could say, 15, 20 books in the last 6 to 8 months, which is quite a number for me because I was never a reader. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. And I do order new books before even I finish the old one, so that I have something to read on to the next very day. So I never stop. I really try. I'm really aggressively trying to read every single day and give a specific time to it.
Awesome. So yeah, I think Naval, one thing I like about Naval as well, he's normal. Like you can resonate with him. Like he's not
Yeah,
some fancy sort of
not at all.
billionaire and like that. I think one of the things that was a good quote, he goes, I'd rather be anonymous and rich rather than famous and broke. Which I think it makes sense because a lot of people want to, the fame and all that sort of stuff, but they forget about the being financially stable and sort of just enjoying life, which I think he's got a good balance because he's never fancily dressed. He's just not.
Mhm.
He's just real. He's just raw, and a lot of what he talks about makes sense. About you want to be good at a number of things, and you want to save your time. You don't want to be sort of stuck to something where you're spending 40 hours a week and missing your prime energy and stuff doing things for other people. So yeah, a great book. But I think he does a lot of podcasts as well. But I think the other thing around books is I never used to read much when I was young. So I think you've started the journey early, which is really good. Is you're learning 10, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years of wisdom from that person who wrote the
Exactly.
book in a couple of hours.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty of like assimilating that knowledge so that you can then uh, assimilate more knowledge and then you'll be able to help other people in what they do as well. Because
Exactly.
we're all standing on the shoulders of giants, as they say. But
Yeah.
we have to then become the giants for today that other people continue the torch bearing of.
Right. Exactly. You can learn so much, by anyone who's been in that particular field, and who's been the best in that field, right? For at such affordable cost in such less time, just read that book with all effort, and you can learn so much. And that's what fascinates me actually, because I've read so much of, from different authors who are really great investors, who were great investors, and I really looked up to them. But then I found the book and I realized that okay, it's actually simple. I need to put in my efforts and read this book carefully, and then I get most of their wisdom from this, right? Because they have shared all of that. So yeah, I think it is all available, and there is abundance of it, abundance of knowledge nowadays because of the internet as well and stuff. The only thing which is scarce is our effort and our energy, which we don't put in, and our choice. Otherwise, it's all abundant.
Exactly, and I think I'm quite interested in the world of AI and teach quite a lot about that. That's just making it even more easier to learn the lessons quicker and do a lot of
Absolutely.
analysis and do a lot of the stuff that used to take a long time to do. So I think these tools are great if you're able to utilize them and then progress even further than
Yeah.
people have gone before. So definitely brilliant. Good. All right, so I think it would be good to sort of start wrapping up now. Otherwise, I'm sure we can talk for hours, and maybe we kind of have another podcast in the future to see where you are there. But how can people sort of connect with you on social media? Because I know you're quite active. What are the main platforms?
The main platform, of course, is Instagram, because that's where most of my content is, and I'm most active there. So KSOD1 is my ID, and you can follow me there. You can check what I'm doing because I post on a daily basis my fitness journey, my readings, whatever I'm reading, whatever I'm having, all of that. I do post it on Instagram, and YouTube is also something I am looking forward to create content on, and I've already started that long form content for people who try to really build their mindset. So how to do that, or also investing lessons, and how can we simply get better at our finances. So I'm starting to do that, and I've already posted several videos in that. So YouTube is another platform I'm on, which is named Rise with Raj. So Rise with Raj is an initiative which is something I'll try to go across all platforms. So it's basically, we all rise together and we all learn together, basically. So I'm trying to also do that through my newsletter, which is on Substack, where I post articles, or you call it newsletter, on various different topics, wherever I feel I can learn from and you can learn from. And then I share those learnings through the article every single week or so. So yeah.
Perfect. Brilliant. So yeah, so Instagram is K Sodhi, KSODHI1, and YouTube is Rise with Raj. But I
Yeah.
like that name, which is just uplifting others whilst you uplift yourself. I like that.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. So it's been an amazing conversation with you to see your journey at such a young age. You're only 18 and you've done so much and you've got so much potential for the future. So, I wish you only well. But just to summarize, you've learned chess from a very young age, and you're not only just competing, but you're also teaching chess as well to others. So that's brilliant. You started your investing journey early, a couple of years ago, and the whole premise of making it competitive and getting your parents' support through that was amazing. But it's a lot of effort from your side to understand what markets are and what financial information means, and deciphering that and reading books, and then doing the qualification and becoming one of the youngest people to achieve it at that age. So, well done. And you're also, teaching the basics of finance and sort of going to start to expand on that, as well as, I would encourage people to support you on Instagram and YouTube and help you grow and get your message across, because it's obviously a positive one. And yeah, I'm looking forward to keeping track on your journey and keeping in contact with you. And who knows, we'll do another podcast in the future. Any final words for the audience to inspire the young, old, whoever is listening? Over to you.
First of all, thank you so much, Vidi. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed my time here, and thanks for all the appreciation. Thank you so much. And yes, if it's on the advice, then of course, yes. I think focus is one thing that beats any talent, beats any intelligence, right? Because if you're focused, you can stay consistent. And as they say, focus is a new IQ, right? So I feel just keep your lives more simpler, because I think that's the only way we can actually be focused. If I have too many distractions, I can never be focused, right? So I think we complicate it too much. Life is not that complicated. We ourselves are making it complicated, right? So just lower down your distractions, keep your life simple, and stay more focused on whatever you wish to work on. If you're focused, you'll crack it down very, very soon, and you'll make it very, very big, because everything is possible in life, right? So stay positive and stay focused always. That's what all I would like to say.
Brilliant, inspiring words to finish off the podcast. So that was Kanwar Raj Singh Sodhi from Delhi, and chess expert, investing expert, fitness and spirituality. He's got it all, and a fantastic, bright future ahead of you. It's been a pleasure. We'll speak soon. You take care.
Thank you
Peace
so
out.
much. Same here. Same here. Thank you so much for having me. See you. Bye bye.